Hi everyone, I have a little bench update and kind of review. So I ended up just going out and getting the Lumineth Vanguard for Age of Sigmar. I'm pretty happy with how the miniatures look. Very detailed, pretty high quality. Um, and so in the box you get basically, I can show it. You get, I think you get a decent amount for a Games Workshop bundle. You get a unit of these Blade Lords, these kind of more special elite troops. You get the Wizard Woman, who's the HQ, unit of Spearmen, and unit of Archers. And I like them overall. I'm not sure yet what paint scheme I'm going to go with. I finished all the Archers, and I did the Wizard first, so I finished her. Kind of more of a busier figure than I normally like, but it is kind of supposed to be a spellcaster, and it is a fantasy miniature, so, you know. Yeah, it's okay. I think the one thing I had forgotten about, just show the Archers, is how kind of convoluted the GW sprues are now. I think the last Games Workshop stuff I assembled, I'll show this is like the champion for the unit with special, it's like a magic item. Was some Horus Heresy Mark III Marines, which are pretty straightforward to assemble. They're kind of like an old, the style is more like an older GW sprue, so it's not super complicated. And I'm just going to get another one of my Warlord sprues just show what I mean if you don't really know. So these are kind of difficult to assemble, and I had some problems with the Archers getting certain arm combinations to mate up to the bow, because it's really specific, like which ones you're supposed to use. So I guess I'll just show. Okay, so here's a Warlord Celt sprue. Not like the best example, I guess, but you can kind of see how, getting these parts to mate up or to glue them together is not super complicated. You've got like the channel in the legs, and that links up to the rounded, kind of rounded part on the body. The hands are nice and open, so you can glue the weapons in, and then, you for the shields, you just glue it onto like the closed fist or and if you don't know, like most Games Workshop kits were like this years ago. So I guess the first Games Workshop stuff I got was it was actually some metal and plastic Space Marines. That was like the only thing my mom would buy for me because it wasn't as expensive. It was like three or four Space Marines. It was kind of similar. So the bodies would have like, a flat surface and to attach the arms. But now, if you, just to kind of show it, so this is one of the Spearman sprues. You can see there's all these like really odd kind of angles to the pieces, and certain parts have certain slots, to make it like more clear, I guess, what goes with what. Like, I don't have one that I can pull out quickly, but like the shoulder pads on the Archers, so this piece, on the inside, some of them have a circular slot that matches up to a circular pin on the shoulder part. Some of them have square. And I had some problems like with that because I didn't really, I thought I was doing the arms right and I wasn't paying super close attention to the instructions. So some of these guys, like here, I think on this one, you can see there's like a little bit of a gap, just barely in the arm where the hand meets the arm guard. Yeah, things like that. So that is something that, and why this is, I guess I could give a little history lesson, is because I think, as far as I know, I was first exposed to the Games Workshop recast problem like in the early 2010s when Horus Heresy was still 1.0 was getting really big. And so obviously it was still, well, not obviously, back then most Horus Heresy stuff was from Forge World, so GW had a lot of problems with recasters. And I think the plastic stuff also had problems with recast. Plastic GW stuff in general, recast companies from places in like China and Russia. So in response, they have changed the sprue designs to this kind of thing, which is a lot harder, to recast ostensibly because it requires, like a lot of this really fine detail work. But in terms of history lesson aside, what that means is, yeah, these are, you have to really pay attention to what parts you use and how they assemble. I mean, when you do get them assembled, they are, they look good. I like these guys. Like I said, I didn't like the Lumineth at first, but they've kind of grown on me. I'm still putting him together. I'm going to save the shield. I think I'll assemble the shields on after painting just to make that part a little simpler. The spears are also really long, I noticed. But actually kind of more realistic how proportional it is for what a, actual medieval or Renaissance pikeman would have carried as a pole weapon. Anyway, so yeah, that's something I noticed because the last 40K sets I got were some Chaos Space Marines that I did the Alpha Legion project on the channel, and it was not quite as bad in terms of these guys. And also, I think the other issue with these Lumineth is, they're supposed to be elves, so they're a lot more slender, and that gives you a problem when trying to get the arms and hands glued together, because it's just, I have pretty big hands and fingers, and these are pretty small pieces. As you can see, there's really not that much space to put the glue on, compared to a Space Marine where you've got, bigger parts and, slightly larger surfaces to glue together. Yeah, and again, really kind of oddly shaped, individual pieces. I mean, when you put them together, they look great, but just the assembly process is a little difficult, I would say, and mostly because when I like to do assembly, I like to do it, where I can kind of listen to an audiobook or some like history lecture on YouTube and kind of just relax. But you have to definitely pay attention. But I think, anyway, that aside, I think this is a pretty good starter set for doing Lumineth. I do like, in the last several years, the instruction booklets from GW. They also include the stats on the back if you need that, which is nice because I know I'm not going to be able to afford to buy the rules while I'm here, because I can't really find them, and it's just prohibitively expensive for a book. Miniatures, I could use these for a bunch of different systems and, you know, keep them for years. But, you know, these GW books tend to get invalidated and people don't care about them after a couple of years. So no sense spending the money on it at this point. I guess I'll just do, before I sign off here, I guess I'll just do one last look at, this is more of the Spearman, I think. This is the command, has some of the command pieces. And then we also have in here this is the Blade Lords, the guys with the great weapons, great swords. So, yeah, so that's what's going on. I guess just one last thing, as I have assembled more of the Gauls, but the Hail Caesar box has so many barbarians, I'm going to have to keep assembling these for a while, and I am going to get to it. But lately I've just been more excited about doing some elves, because I had originally intended this channel to be kind of more based on Eldar stuff and 40k. I've kind of obviously diversified my interests a lot more, but yeah, I kind of like elves and fantasy and the Eldar and Warhammer 40k, so I'm having fun putting these guys together. And when I'm not sure what I'm going to paint them as yet. I did get some blue and white GW paints to go to kind of maybe help with the painting a bit. It's called Techless Blue, so I thought maybe it'd probably be helpful. But yeah, I might do them blue and white like they are in the box art, but there's also in the Age of Sigmar lore, there's a green, they have like a green and bronze paint scheme. That's another one of these elf nations, and that's kind of cool too. So I'm still deciding, but we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing, hopefully in a future video. All right, this one's kind of run a little longer than I'd like, but I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.